you've got a meeting where you want people within the Onchan, your constituency, to come and talk to you, express their views about the draft area plan. But you've also made a fairly detailed submission too.
I have. What I've actually done is I attended a recent meeting organised by Onchan District Commissioners. I felt at that meeting there was a lot of unanswered questions and a lot of concerns raised by constituents at that meeting. So what I've done is I've tweaked my sort of monthly constituency surgery for the 8th of September. So instead of having a constituency surgery, I'm actually going to put on display the maps. I'm going to have copies of the site reports, and hopefully I'll be able to answer questions. And that is a drop-in session. So there'll be tea and coffee available, but it's a drop-in session between 9:30 and 12:30 on the 8th of September. And I'm hoping that constituents will come down, have a look at the plans, ask any questions they may have. But it also gave me an opportunity, this consultation period, to submit a wider and a more detailed documents about concerns of constituents have given me since 2012, and some of my own personal concerns from inquiries and correspondence that I've received over the last 6 years.
Let's pick up on a couple of those concerns. 5,100 houses for the Onchan area alone. You're obviously talking as an Onchan MHK, but you're also a national politician, and a national policy is to build more houses, attract more people here. So is it a case of not on your patch?
No, what I've actually done is, and that's the good thing about my correspondence, a copy of my correspondence is available via my website, so people can go and have a look at that themselves. But what government said is between 2011 and 2026, we need to build 5,200 more homes or dwellings, and 2,400 need to be built within the Eastern Area Plan. Now, when I looked at that, I had a quick look through the census and the population data. Since 1951, the island's population has only grown by around 29,000. So per annum, that is around 435 per annum. So
you could argue it's stalled of late as well.
Yeah, and we do have a migration problem when we have high unemployment and whatever else. So I felt personally, and this is a personal opinion, I felt as an MHK that I think we only need around 3,000 houses built during that, over this next 8 years or whatever. I do get to the point that some will say, well, more people are living independently and whatever else. However, the government's policy is to attract more young professionals and young families. So based on that calculation, I feel 3,000 is an adequate number, not 5,100.
It has to be the right sort of housing as well, doesn't it? Affordable housing.
Absolutely. I mean, under the Eastern Area Plan, it basically says that 25% of say 8 or more dwellings has to be affordable housing. Personally, I feel that figure's far too low. And I think if we are going to attract young professionals to the Isle of Man, then we've got to build really good quality homes and affordable homes going over the next 10 years or so.
What about infrastructure then within Onchan? Because there are some flooding issues, we're aware of that. There are definitely traffic issues. Is the infrastructure capable of coping with these extra houses?
In my submission that I've made under the Eastern Area Plan, I have said that the infrastructure in Onchan needs to be reviewed as a priority. I think the traffic management is a concern. If you take the Lower St Ninian School, I think the traffic builds up there at peak times, and it spills on to Signpost Corner, and that is a significant danger in my eyes. Plus, people can't get in and out of the Birch Hill estate at the moment. Under the submissions or the site report, there is a couple of potential developments that could happen in Birch Hill, and I generally don't think they can happen until we get a proper flow traffic management sort of report, and then that is implemented with any recommendations. Sewerage is a big problem. I mean, given the terrain of Onchan, there has been examples given to me where higher properties have flooded lower properties, and that's been an ongoing concern. Fortunately, since taking up my position as MHK, I've managed to get the DOI, the Onchan District Commissioners, and the Manx Utilities Authority to work together, and there is some works being undertaken during the summer which will hopefully rectify some of those problems, but any future developments needs to take those into consideration.
It goes right across areas of government, an Eastern Area Plan, doesn't it? Can the schools in Onchan cope with presumably extra children if you're trying to get young professional families attracted to the village?
That's one thing I've also highlighted, that it will need a review of our school needs and infrastructure and facilities around that. Again, based on a previous report, it's basically said for every 2,400 places, we have, or properties or whatever, we'd actually have to build, we have to take into consideration 1,200 school places, and that would be 600 at a senior level and 600 at a primary level.
At the primary level, there are 2 schools, aren't there? But they're small schools.
They are, but there is some capacity there at the moment. It's but if we are going to build another 400 or 600 houses just in Onchan, then we do need to look at the school provision going forward as well.